Hello and welcome to another Solana tutorial. Yes, I'm doing a lot of those, I know, but that's kind of my job, isn't it? Today we're gonna have a look at the new Rust SDK. So, Solana SDK in Rust. Is there a new one? No, it's the one that we've always been using, but it changed. And that thing comes in two parts: the Solana program crate, which is, the thing you use for on-chain development, and then what we call the Solana SDK, which is kind of everything, but also what you use to then call programs, that's the Rust client part, kind of. But really, it's kind of the same thing, but just different crates that depend on each other. And that thing changed. It's now not one crate anymore, it's like a bunch of crates, and I have no idea how it actually works and like what changed exactly. I just get a lot of dependency errors if I try to use different versions with each other, and also Anchor changed to a newer version and has different dependencies that I don't recognize. So I'm like, I gotta have a look at what has changed here, and maybe we learn something. Maybe we just figure out, okay, it's different crates now. But even then, at least I want to understand what those different crates are and hopefully get a better feeling of why they made those changes and what's the advantage for us as devs now. That's where I want to get to. So let's go have a look at the Solana Rust SDK. Because yeah, that's one of the essential things. If you write Solana programs, you will rely on that in one way or another. Unless you're using Pinocchio exclusively. But even then, you might want to use it for client stuff. So understanding the Rust SDK is probably a good thing. And if you're not a Rust dev, don't you worry. You will be. I have a video planned where I'm gonna give you the Rust basics, like Rust basics for Solana devs. That's certainly on my list. I haven't made it yet, but there will be one that you can look forward to. So, and maybe by that point it's already released. I don't know how far in the future you live. So, yeah, but in this video, we get started with just the Solana Rust SDK. Let's go. Rust SDK for Solana. That sounds about what I want. That is German. Why the... Okay. Good, we can comprehend this. Rust SDKs for Solana. There are the following Rust crates: Solana program, and this is what I'm used to, right? That's what I was talking about. There's Solana program, imported by programs running Solana. They compile to the SBF. This crate contains many fundamental data types and is re-exported from Solana SDK. Okay, so the Solana program is part of the Solana SDK, but the Solana SDK gives you even more. But for writing programs, you have only access to this. Then the SDK is the off-chain stuff that has everything from Solana program and adds more API on top of that. If you write a Rust client program, like not a smart contract, but anything that runs anywhere else than on-chain, you probably might want to use this. Oh, and then there's Solana client, which is even separate for the RPC stuff. And then there's CLI stuff. But that's what I'm used to. Like, that's the crates that I'm used to. Solana program, Solana SDK, Solana client. I thought those are one, but they're two separate ones. But, whatever. Point is, I'm used to having like two different crates. But I think they changed it now, and it now looks way different. Let's check that. So Solana SDK in 2.2.2. Where do I find more info on this? I guess we gotta go to the source. Solana SDK by Ansa. Rust SDK for Solana blockchain, used by on-chain programs and Agave validator. Not getting smarter here. I'm just not getting smarter by this. I am just gonna cargo init and cargo add Solana SDK and see what happens. See, it gets me the Solana SDK in version 2.2.2. You know what? I'm gonna make two projects. And then let's check out an older version. Vibe coding. Okay, so ChatGPT would use Solana SDK 1.18. And that looks about like what I would do. Yeah, let's do that. Let's use this version, 1.18. Let's do 1.18 and cargo init here as well. Cargo add Solana SDK at 1.18. Did that work? Yes, in 1.18. Perfect. Oh yeah, and we also need the Solana client. You shall also get the Solana client. And in the good old, not old, in the good new vibe coding strategy, we just take whatever the AI tells us to. And that stuff seems fairly simple. It uses the Solana client to have the RPC client, the synchronous one. There's also an async one, a non-blocking one, but it doesn't know because it didn't even build that. So gotta first download those things. So yeah, quite a few dependencies on that thing. Maybe that also got better in the newer version, I'm not sure. Okay, so that vibe coding is not working 100%. It looks correct, but doesn't quite work. Let's see, what's my issue here? Oh, a pub key from string. Yes, what do we need to import for that? This. Ha, voila. See, I mean, vibe coding is great and all, but having a little bit of understanding yourself is also very helpful. There we go. So that works. So that actually compiles. Sweet. So what do we do here? We create a RPC client that we have from the Solana client. RPC client. As I said, there's also a non-blocking. Yeah. The difference being the non-blocking, you can just use it async, but then you always need to await it and stuff. So this one is blocking. If I do something with the RPC, where do I do something with the RPC? Here, for instance, it blocks until it got the block hash and everything. And for our script, that's fine. But if you want to do stuff in the meantime, or if you work with threads and stuff, you might want to use non-blocking. So anyway, it's not much different than the Solana kit or the Web3.js. This is the corresponding thing to a connection in the Web3.js, or we also call it RPC in the kit. Here it's called RPC client. We say what's the URL and what's the commitment that we connect with, or that we want per default. We load a key pair from a file, which is also a convenient function that we get from the SDK. See, that's nothing that the Solana program crate has, but the Solana SDK will have. Those things, like reading key pairs from a file. Can't do that in a Solana program that's run on chain. But stuff like pub key, that is re-exported from Solana program, because that's the same as in the on-chain programs. Okay, and the instruction, the system program instruction. Wait, the system instruction, that's from program, but the transaction is from the SDK. Yeah, whatever. So load a key pair. I'm gonna load from, starts with, I don't know, SDK. A new key for a new thing. That's how I roll. SDKK. I like that one. Oh, but that's better. SDK2. I like this. We're gonna take this. Gonna take this. Get some funds on there. Use this key pair. So we load our funded key pair. We define a recipient. Oh, nice. That's a public key. I mean, that's fine. We can send there. It's on DevNet. Nobody really cares who's receiving. But obviously then it's lost there. But yeah, whatever. And yeah, we send 0.001 lamperts. That's fine. It's a system program instruction with a transfer. That is deprecated. So let's not set a bad example and use deprecated things. I think it's a get latest. Does the doc say something on deprecation? Get latest block hash. That's what I said. Okay, and then we get a... Oh, this just gives me the hash? Okay, cool. That works. And then we create a transaction with this one instruction. My payer is the fee payer, signer, this recent block hash. And then we send and confirm with that RPC client. Perfect. Easy. And that should also work. How do you run Rust programs? I haven't done any Rust stuff in so long. It's good that I play around with this, because how do you start a Rust program? Wait, you get it. If you build it, you get a target debug, and here it is. That's an executable. So my target debug should have this Solana SDK. Oh, did you not use the right number of ones? 23, yeah. ChatGPT, I mean, nice try. I trusted you on this. You failed me. Wait, the easiest way to check is just put it here. Yeah, no results. It's not valid. One less, maybe more. There we go. Hold on. So you need one more or two. No, actually just one is allowed. There we go. Does not exist. At least on mainnet. On DevNet also doesn't exist. Well, we'll make it exist. So we need another one. It should be a 32-byte thing. But that's the problem with text generation. ChatGPT is smart. It understands what it's supposed to do, but it doesn't fully understand what it's doing here. It got the idea right, but you need another one. It's fun though. Vibe coding is also fun. Nothing against vibe coding. I'm just saying, like, but I studied computer science, and I'm a programmer per trade, so therefore like I have my issues with it. Let's say it like that. But I mean, vibe coding, which is the process of using AI to code, sure, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I do it myself, but mainly for quickly getting something done that I won't use in production. And if I use it in production, then I will go through every line of code and check that it's actually doing what I would expect it to. Like, I still want to understand what's standing here. My issue with vibe coding is that people often don't understand what's even happening because they're not programmers. They just vibe with it and want to make stuff work, and AI allows them to. But, you know, whatever. Pros and cons. Anyhow, for this quick little script, it's just fine. We just fix the bugs that we have because we are programmers and we can. I mean, I could also probably paste that in. Actually, let's do that. Let's just see if ChatGPT would be able to fix that. I get that error and see if it fixes it for me. Replace the recipient pub key with a valid base 58 encoded 32 byte string. So it tells me what I need to do, but the solution is you find yourself a valid pub key here. Or here's a valid hard-coded address, the system program. But that will also not work because I can't send to the system program. So, you know, with vibe coding, it would probably take me a bit longer, or I would need to do this. But I understand, okay, we just need another one and we're fine with that. So I like my solution. See, like the real programming is still, in my opinion, better than vibe coding. But, you know, if you can only vibe code, it's better than no coding. So, I guess. Anyway, so can we now run this? Build, run. There we go. Transaction sent. We can send the transaction with the Rust SDK. As you would expect. There you go. Easy. We sent 0.01 to the recipient. Ha! Moving on. Point is, this stuff works. Quickly, the Rust script that will do what I want it to do, which is send 0.001 sol. Okay, what if I were to do the same with my Solana SDK in version 2? I guess that should just, I mean, it looks like that would just work the same. I will also need the Solana client. I will also take it in version 2.2.2. So let's install. It looks like it's using the same dependencies. It has roughly the same amount of dependencies at least. That looks the exact same. I'm pretty sure I can use just, because it's not even a major version change. So there won't be like breaking changes. Easy. So also with the SDK version 2.2, I can just send a transaction, and it's the exact same code as well. So like there's nothing that changed here. So where are those changes? Like what has changed then? Solana program. This thing has a bunch of dependencies, including Solana account info, Solana Solana program error, Solana program memory. Was that also the case in version 18? Solana program. No, look, in that version, the Solana program in version 1.18 something has a bunch of other dependencies, but only way fewer than here. And that's exactly the change that I wanted to talk about today. This looks a lot like they split it in like a bunch of separate crates. But to me as a dev, at least when I'm using the SDK, it looks like it's the same because the SDK imports Solana program, and Solana program basically exports all of those things, I guess. So from the side of the SDK, nothing really changed. Just from the side of the program, if we actually just use Solana program to write a Solana program, then stuff changes, I guess. The Solana SDK, which has Solana program as a dependency. Here we need to now use all of those, like Solana pub key we have as a direct dependency as well. So basically we have a bunch more also Solana RPC client stuff and the Solana SDK itself, which also has a bunch more Solana dependencies actually, it seems like. Because here the Solana SDK, again, just those few Solana dependencies. And now the Solana SDK has a bunch more Solana dependencies because they split those. Solana account is a separate dependency. Okay, so maybe it does make a difference as well if we're working with the SDK, but we were just using too simple of an example. I mean, yeah, it doesn't make a difference really. Here the pub key just comes from Solana program pub key. And now in version 2.2.2, so starting at version 2.2, I guess, it comes from Solana pub key. So it just changed where they come from, but they're all apparently re-exported anyway because of the Solana program. Should we write the program and see if that makes a difference? Because I guess that's why they want to make a difference. Nah, also not true. We changed the kit from the Web3.js to be more modular. And that's already, I think, the main reason why they changed it like that you don't need to import all of the things that you don't need. So you want to have fewer dependencies. It should be possible to have fewer dependencies. And that's why they split it to different crates, I guess. But yeah, let's try it. Let's try writing Solana programs. Let's do a separate folder, programs. And in here, let's do a program 1.18 and then a program 2.2. I don't want to have points in my folder names. He says using points in his folder names. And we start with 1.18. That's what we know. Cargo init library, and I would cargo add Solana program at 1.18. So we added 1.18.26, even though 2.2.1 is available. That's fine. I want to use that old version. Then, as with any good Solana program, we will need to tell it the lib type. And then in the lib, let's do a massive minimal example that does essentially nothing. Let's try cargo build SBF. So here we directly get 127 dependencies, roughly, maybe 126 or whatever, for the Solana program. I mean, that's what I expected, but why does my Rust analyzer not tell me that? I'm gonna open you in a separate window. Yes, that's what I want to see. Red. Such that I can tell you, hey, imported from the Solana program entry point. Hey, imported from Solana program pubkey. Remember, we're still in version 1.18. Import that from Solana program account info and import that from, well, maybe not deprecated, Solana entry point. Okay, good. But like this, I should be able to build. There we go. And just say okay. The smallest possible Solana program already built, optimized for release, will have 17.3 kilobytes. Okay, so far so good. Let's do the exact same thing, but for version 2.2. So we cargo init a lib. We tell it to be that lib. We cargo add Solana program. Let's see what version it will take. 2.2.1. Yeah, that's fair. I'll take 2.2.1. And then let's say I want to do the same thing here. And now check this. Now if I import, no, it's the same. It says Solana program pubkey. Hold on. What if I say cargo build SBF? That's 145 dependencies. So I have more dependencies here. Yeah, that makes sense because we have more crates ourselves. So still, it's in Solana program account info. I mean, yeah, that makes sense to be backward compatible. So that's the exact same, which makes sense because otherwise devs run into problems when they, update their version. Still, this is now in Solana account info, whereas here, this is in Solana program account info. So the difference being, here it still lives in the Solana program crate, but in version 2.2, it lives in its own crate, and it's the same thing. But also, that's why you might run into issues, because they are two distinct things, right? Because they live at different places. And even if they would have the same implementation, which for most of them they will have, like almost all of them, unless they get updated or whatever. So let's say they're all the same, but because they live in different places, you might still get dependency issues because they're not actually the same type for Rust. Because Rust doesn't know that both of those crates really have the same implementation. It will see it as different types. And that's the issue that we ran into yesterday when we imported the SPL token crate as well. But yeah, it's not a big difference for devs. Like everything will still work the same essentially. It's just that they moved it into different crates now. And there's nothing really more to it. I mean, is there? If I build this, we'll also have the 17. Wait, that's the wrong program. I called it the same. I copied the same name. That's why it's called the same. Building this and then it's called that as well. Okay, yeah. But yeah, it got the same size because it basically got the same dependencies, just that they come from somewhere else. It's just this one is an extern crate, Solana account info, and this one is the Solana program crate, which means this still holds true. Still the case, just that internally we have more crates now. Solana program, I guess, is part of the Solana SDK. Because here we have program. Yep, use the Solana program crate to write on-chain programs. We intend to version crates independently in the future. So starting from 2.2.0, they will have independent versions. Now I want a list of like kind of a change log of where would I find that? Yes, that, but for Agave, this is already archived. Do you have a releases? Yes, well. See pubkeys in version 2.3. They're independently versioned. Solana SDK in version 2.2.2. That's all? There's nothing more? What? I want to find the release of the SDK version 2. Only goes back to February. Let's vibe research this. Well, the official release notes are not available on the GitHub release page. Detailed information can be found in the changelog MD. There we go. That's what we need. Vibe research, I tell you. Wait. X DeFi Tech. I mean, John Cinque. I trust that guy. Not sure I would trust this. I don't know how you found that, but yeah, that's forked from Agave. So maybe check it at Agave, where I trust it. So again, that's what happens if you do vibe research, but changelog. Here we go. All notable changes in this project will be documented in this file. Why did I not have the idea to check here in the very beginning? 2.3 is unreleased. That's not what I'm interested in. 2.2 here. So there were a lot of breaking changes in version 2 because, I mean, that's why they bumped the major version to allow breaking changes. Deprecated symbols removed, deprecated symbols removed. So all the deprecated stuff they finally removed. And the cargo build BPF and cargo test BPF have now been finally removed after being deprecated for 2 years. Yeah, we used to use cargo build BPF, but now we use SPF. And so let's see version 2.0. What changes do we have here? I mean, it's the Agave that contains all of the CLI, the validator, and the SDK. And so in the SDK changes, but that all like that's okay. Cool, a small change. But that doesn't talk about they split it into different crates at all. When did they do that? And why did they do that? Or is that such a minor thing that they don't want to talk about it? Because admittedly, in my analysis now, it's like the same thing anyway. I just got so confused because there are so many more crates now. But maybe, yeah, it is not a big deal. It doesn't look like a big deal. But that also doesn't make this a good video. If I say, well, same. Why would you watch me for 30 minutes? Just to mention that nothing changed. Because of the vibe. That's why. Because vibe research and vibe coding. You can do that yourself. Great, I'm getting 2 responses now. But I need to improve build efficiency and modularity. The problem with vibe research though is that might also all be hallucinated. I mean, it sounds plausible. Enhanced modularity and reusability, yeah. The Solana team has maintained backward compatibility by re-exporting these modular crates through the main Solana program Solana SDK crates. Yeah, we figured that out. And I also already assumed that it's for backward compatibility. And ChatGPT also assumes or hallucinates that. We never know. This ensures that existing projects maintain functional while benefiting from the improvements brought about by modularization. Split up Solana program. Oh, that, yeah. That's where this comes from. That's back in Solana SDK. So proposed solution, split up Solana program and Solana SDK into multiple crates, but re-exporting them from the 2 crates for backwards compatibility and convenience. Okay, so what we're doing right now is still being convenient, but we can pick and choose what we need. Aha, so maybe we should do that. I mean, let's try and do that. So instead of importing the entire Solana program crate, forget that. We're just gonna import only the things we really need. I'll take it back, give it back to me. Because I wanna know which crates I need. I will need this one. So cargo add this one in version 2.2.1. Then account info from Solana, account info. Then program result from Solana program error. And pub key from Solana pub key. Okay, then we trash this because that was just done for backward compatibility and, you know, convenience. But now that I have those, I can throw out Solana program and I say cargo build just to download the, because now I just have 18 dependencies. Did you see? Now I have way fewer dependencies and I can import that from Solana program entry point now. Look, Solana program entry point. Solana pub key. Solana account info, and Solana program error, program result. This looks different. See, there we go. That's where I wanted to go. This is looking better. See, check this. And now we cargo build this. And now, oh, cargo build SBF I need to do. There you go, 21, but still fewer. And then in my deploy, this thing will still have 17.2 kilobytes. I mean, it is again using the same things and optimizing for that, and it will only put the things in the binary that it actually uses and stuff. But the compile time went down significantly because I only needed to compile so many things and not all of the dependencies, which, you know, in most cases, it doesn't make a big difference. I mean, if you compiled it once, if I already built it once, then it will just rebuild, you know, quickly anyway. But if I rebuild it all, if I clean and rebuild, then I need to, you know, download and compile all of those things, which, you know, takes significantly longer. And also, you don't need most of that. That's the thing. Why would I compile all of that chunk that I don't need anyway? And I can do so much faster building it here. Boom. Did you see? Less than 1.5 seconds for the entire thing. Versus what did it take me here? 30 seconds. I mean, that's a difference. That is a difference in compile time. And I was able to do that because I only imported the things that I need from the specific crates that I need. And that is why they did it. Ha! Figured it out. Nice. Okay. So that means even if you create a Solana program, you don't always need to import Solana program. You can just import the crates or add the crates, you know, add the dependencies of the things that you actually need. And they're all re-exported to Solana program, but they are their own crates. So you can't just pick and choose what you need. You will need to know where you find them, but in case you don't know, just import Solana program and see what that re-exports, and there you go. Cool. Yeah, I guess I'm happy with that. I think, yep, that's, I'll call that a success. Yeah. We figured something out. We understand something more about the Solana SDK. We don't need to use Solana program. We can use all of those things individually. Isn't that fun? I like it. So yeah, it's not a huge thing. Like, you will be fine just always using Solana program, but it's nice that they did this. And that changed in version 2.2. So from version 2.2 onwards, they also have separate versions now. Here we see it, for instance, they're all still in 2.2.1, whereas Solana PubKey went up to 2.3. They are independently versioned now as well, which is also kind of cool. And at the same time can get confusing because, wait, what version works with which other version now? This might get challenging in the future. But hey, if you always use the newest stuff, then it should be fine. We love to always use the newest stuff, right? That's always what we do, right? Anyway, yeah, so at least now I'm confident using the newest stuff here because I know what changed and why it changed. I also know where I see the changes in the changelog MD. You keep on learning. I mean, such an obvious thing, but it wasn't so obvious to me apparently. Needed to vibe research. Yes, that's a word I made up today after some vibe coding. Yeah, good. We'll end it here. A little bit of a shorter video for once, just talking about the changes in the Solana Rust SDK in version 2.2. And here's some other videos. Do subscribe if you want to see that Rust for Solana devs video. That will be coming. And once it's there, it's gonna be there. But until then, like this video and use the Solana program crate in version 2.2. Or don't use Solana program, but use them individually. Yay! Okay. Good. Yeah, see you in the next one.